The Yamato family sat at the dinner table, the gentle clink of chopsticks the only sound filling the room. Kai stared down at his bowl, swirling his rice absently, his thoughts far from the meal in front of him. His mind replayed the band's last practice session, their energy, the chemistry between them, and the excitement about their upcoming gig at the local festival. But that same excitement was knotted with unease. "You've been staying out late after school a lot lately," Akio said, breaking the silence. His tone was casual, but his eyes rested firmly on Kai. Kai froze. He'd been careful not to let his parents find out too much about the band. Now it seemed like they were starting to notice. "Just practicing," Kai mumbled, keeping his gaze down. "Practicing what?" Akio pressed. Kai hesitated, his shoulders tensing. There was no way to dodge the question now. "Music," he said finally, his voice quiet. "Music?" Akio repeated, his brows drawing together. "You mean the piano?" "No," Kai admitted. "I've been playing drums." The room went still. Marissa looked up sharply, her expression a mix of surprise and curiosity. Akio, however, leaned back in his chair, his face darkening. "Drums?" he said. "Since when?" "A few months," Kai said hesitantly. "Mr. Tanaka has a drum kit, and he lets me practice." "And you didn't think to tell us?" Akio's voice had an edge now. Kai shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "I didn't think you'd understand." Marissa reached over and touched Akio's arm gently. "Let him explain," she said, her voice calm but firm. Kai took a deep breath, summoning his courage. "I've been playing in a band," he said. "We've practiced together for weeks, and we even had a gig at a cafe last week." "A gig?" Akio's tone sharpened. "You're performing now, and you didn't bother to tell us." "I didn't think you'd approve," Kai said, frustration creeping into his voice. "You always saying I should focus on school and that music isn't practical. I didn't want to hear another lecture about how it's a waste of time." "Because it is," Akio snapped. "You need to think about your future, not waste your time on a hobby that won't lead anywhere." "It's not a waste of time." Kai's voice rose, his fists clenching under the table. "Music is the only thing that makes me feel good at something. Like I belong somewhere." The crack in his voice caught Akio off guard, and for a moment, the room was silent. Marissa broke the tension, her voice soft but resolute. "Akio, he's telling us how much this means to him. Maybe we should listen." Akio let out a heavy sigh, rubbing his temples. "I just don't want him to lose sight of what's important. We came to Japan to build a better life, and that means stability, not chasing dreams that don't lead anywhere." Kai's frustration boiled over. "You think I don't understand how hard you've worked?" "I do. But I'm not giving up on school or responsibilities. I just want to do this too." "Why can't you see that?" That night, Kai retreated to his room, flopping onto his bed and staring at the ceiling. His father's words echoed in his head, twisting his feelings of excitement about drumming into doubt. A soft knock at the door pulled him from his thoughts. Marissa stepped inside, closing the door gently behind her. "Kai," she said softly, sitting down on the edge of his bed. "I knew he'd react like that," Kai muttered. Marissa gave him a small smile, brushing a hand over his hair. "Your father means well. He just wants to protect you. He's seen how hard life can be when things don't work out." Kai sat up, his voice laced with defiance. "But I'm not giving up on school or anything else. I just want to do this too. Why can't he see that?" Marissa's smile widened slightly. "Sometimes it takes time. Keep showing him how much this means to you, and he'll start to understand. You're his son, Kai. He wants to see you succeed, he just doesn't always know how to say it." Over the next week, Kai threw himself into band practice with renewed determination. The band met regularly at the community center, perfecting their set list for the festival gig. The stakes felt higher now. This wasn't just about playing music anymore. It was about proving to himself and his father that this wasn't a waste of time. "All right, let's go through this one more time," Hiroshi said, adjusting his guitar strap. "Kai, keep the intro tight. It's gotta hit hard." "Got it," Kai replied, gripping his drumsticks. As they played, Kai felt his frustrations melt away. The rhythm of the drums, the interplay between the instruments, and the camaraderie of the band grounded him in the moment. "That was solid," John exclaimed as they finished. "If we play like that at the festival, we are going to blow the crowd away." Kai grinned, wiping the sweat from his forehead. At home, the tension with Akio lingered. He hadn't brought up the argument again, but his silence spoke volumes. Marissa tried to mediate, encouraging Kai to keep following his passion while gently nudging Akio to give him a chance. The breakthrough came unexpectedly one evening. Kai was tapping out a rhythm on his desk when Akio appeared in the doorway. "Can I come in?" Akio asked. Kai nodded, setting down his sticks. Akio stepped inside, his expression unreadable. "Your mother told me about the festival," he said. "You're playing there?" "Yeah," Kai said cautiously. Akio paused, then let out a breath. "I still don't understand this music thing. But if it's that important to you, I think I should see it for myself." Kai blinked in surprise. You want to come?" Akio nodded. "If you're serious about this, I should see what it's all about." The day of the festival arrived, and the park buzzed with activity. Brightly colored stalls lined the pathways, and the air was filled with the sound of live music and chatter. Kai's band was scheduled to play in the late afternoon, and as they waited backstage, the excitement was palpable. "You've got this," Hiroshi said, clapping Kai on the shoulder. "Just play like we practiced." When it was their turn, Kai took his place behind the drum kit, his stomach flipping as he scanned the crowd. Near the back, he spotted his parents, Marissa waving enthusiastically, and Akio standing stiffly with his arms crossed. The first song began, and Kai forced himself to focus on the beat. As the music built, he found his rhythm, letting the energy of the crowd fuel his performance. By the time they finished their set, the applause was thunderous. As Kai packed up his gear, Akio approached him, his expression softer than Kai had seen in weeks. "You were good," Akio said, his voice gruff but genuine. "Better than I expected." Kai smiled, the tension between them finally easing. "Thanks, Dad." With his father's tentative approval, Kai feels more confident than ever about his musical journey. But as the band's ambitions grow, new challenges begin to test the unity and Kai's resolve.